Hello, welcome back to another Artist Alley vlog. In today's vlog, we will be heading over to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for Anime Milwaukee. I always take Southwest when I fly out because they allow 2 free checked luggages, which saves a lot of money. It's really helpful. It's really hard to pass up the deal. The flight to Milwaukee was a bit exhausting. I'm not entirely sure why I was having such a hard time with it, but when I made it, it was a huge relief. We did end up getting there a little too early, but it's okay. Also, it was really cold. Being from Texas, I wasn't really used to the weather, but when I finally made it to the Airbnb, I was so excited because it was actually really nice. It was also like inside of a mall, which was kind of weird, but the actual place was nice. Had a nice kitchen, really tall, had a vaulted ceiling, and I don't know, it's just a really nice space, and it was really homey. Oh my gosh, I am exhausted, but we made it. Yay! So setting up was a bit of a doozy, but we still somehow managed to make it work. I was so scatterbrained, I don't know. I brought my usual stuff, just everything except for my stickers, because you're not allowed to sell stickers at this convention. I don't know, I was really out of it, I think, when I was packing, and I ended up forgetting a lot of things. I didn't bring enough cubes. I didn't even bring the right kind of, the right set of cubes. I also picked up the wrong banner stand, so I didn't have my binder rings, which were in the bag, so I had to buy zip ties instead from a nearby convenience store, which ended up working. I'm just checking on all of my little mini prints, my notepads, and making sure everything is neat and organized and easy to see. And I also had my tote bags laid out on the table. So we are by the dealers for once, so hopefully that's good for us. I don't know. I'm running pretty low on a lot of items, so like my Pollo Juice keychains, I was already really close to selling out. Day 1, I only had those 2 left. I was also really close to selling out of my egg magnets. My egg ones are really popular, so I definitely need to restock those soon. Not as cold as it was this morning. Yeah. Wow, my hair looks really funny today, but whatever. It's day 2 of Anime Milwaukee. Thankfully, it is not temperature-wise. It's actually okay today. It's gonna be around 32 degrees when we get out. So, you know, just regular cold winter temperature, nothing, in the negatives today at the very least. It was really cold yesterday, but I didn't die. So today's Saturday. I really hope today is a lot better than yesterday, because yesterday was really slow. I haven't made that few sales since, I don't know, it's been a while since I've done that poorly on a Friday, but from what I could tell around me, it seemed overall kind of slow for everyone. Yeah, I don't know, it wasn't very much like a buying day. It was a lot of window shopping, a lot of people being like, we'll come back later. A lot of people also have a I won't buy anything on day 1 policy, so hopefully those people come back tomorrow and, buy what they want to buy. I did have some mishaps when packing. I packed my wrong banner display stand, so I didn't have my binder rings in there, so I had to buy zip ties, so I figured something out with zip ties. I also am running really low on certain prints, and I'm completely out of my mini cat print, which is one of my most popular. I do have my larger sized one. I just don't have the mini ones, and I forgot to get more printed. I thought I still had them. I also feel a little sad. I miss my stickers. I'm not allowed to sell stickers at this con, so I had to leave them behind. I don't know. I didn't think through my display enough, honestly, but it's okay. I think it's working for what it needs. Like, it's doing what it needs to do, basically. Yeah, I did have a lot of display mishaps. I also forgot an entire like wooden piece for my display shelf, but thankfully it's not the end of the world. I also tried getting notepads restocked, but I didn't do it in time, so you know, nothing could really happen due to the Lunar New Year holiday. So because I'm outsourcing them to another company, and it's just, yeah, it didn't quite work out. So I'm low on notepads as well, which is sad. My most popular design, I don't have it, and my other popular design, I only have 2 of them, so I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but it's okay. I am running low on quite a few things, and I do hope that if I can sell out of them this con, that would be good, actually. So when I do eventually restock, you know, certain acrylic products and stuff, I will be in a good place to decide whether, you know, get more of these made, or should I retire these? I don't know, we'll see. I think this will be a good con to like evaluate my inventory with and see how I feel about my products. I anticipate today being slow, but not as slow as yesterday. I do hope I can make a decent profit today. I didn't quite break even yesterday, which is a bit disappointing. I only need like $639 or something like that to break even on all of my costs, just to come here and vend here and everything, but I didn't hit that yesterday, which is kind of crazy to me. But I also packed more tote bags today rather than large prints, and miraculously I was under the weight limit at the airport, so that's a good sign. It was my prints weighing everything down because I print on really nice cardstock. But yeah, less prints this time, more tote bags. I hope it pays off in the long run because they are my bestseller, and I don't know what else to say. I should probably go get dressed and then figure out breakfast, and also just go set up because I think I need to be there in like half an hour or something like that. I don't know, we're just 5 minutes away. The actual artist alley opens at noon, but the VIPs get in at 11:30, but I don't know if it'll be with just the VIPs because yesterday there weren't a lot of people, but we'll see. So I'll see y'all at the convention center. Really? It's not that bad. So I'm currently sold out of 3 pins, and I'm also sold out of this one in charm form, so I don't have these anymore. Although I'll work on restocking them soon. Hello, I just got back from day 2 of Anime Milwaukee, and today was definitely much better than yesterday. Yesterday was pretty disastrous. I only made like $300 something yesterday, which is very low. Today I made over double that, and total so far, even with the extremely disastrous day 1, which honestly, really such a big hit in sales and profit, it's a bit disappointing, but today was really good, and I hope tomorrow is just as good so I can, you know, make back the cost of whatever happened day 1. But yeah, in spite of, you know, that huge setback, I'm still doing better than I did all 4 days I spent at Anime Los Angeles. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, I'm honestly excited for tomorrow. I hope tomorrow is good for me and everyone, because I know day 1 was really slow for a lot of people. And I don't know, I'm just excited to see how things, you know, the final numbers and everything, seeing how it turned out, because my expectations after yesterday were like super low. And then we started today and I was like, whoa, okay, maybe, you know, maybe I should curb the the cynical thoughts a little bit and then see how the rest of the day goes. And honestly, today was doing pretty good. Although after a certain point later on in the day, things started to slow down significantly, but that's not a bad thing. Normally people just start filtering out as the day ends. It's like not a big deal. It's pretty typical. And I hope that tomorrow all the last minute shoppers, you know, end up coming back like they said they would. Also, the weather today was a lot better. It was actually very nice today, so that was definitely a welcome change compared to like -6 degrees. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. So this is the route to take from the entrance to my booth. Honestly, it's like just straight down from the entrance. So my actual booth placement was really lucky. It was a really good placement. And as you can see here I am just walking up right here, my pink tablecloth and everything nicely laid out. And here I'm just like checking my current stock, organizing everything. As you can see, I'm starting to run low on some things. I've sold out of a few pins. Definitely need to restock those soon. Sold out of my +1 Mined magnets finally. So I only have these 5 instead of 6. Okay, so I'm currently sold out of all of my cat tote bags, and I'm running low on a lot of pins and quite a few charms actually, and some prints, and also my notepads. So I currently only have 2 notepads left, so these are almost all gone too. And that's a wrap for Anime Milwaukee. Hello, I am back from Anime Milwaukee. So I've actually been back in Texas for a while now. I've only just recently finally gotten fully settled back into my apartment in Austin. I've shipped out a bunch of orders, organized some stuff, put my stuff away, and I think I'm ready to just sit down and chat about Anime Milwaukee now. So if I'm going to be completely honest, Anime Milwaukee was kind of a mixed bag for me. I have very mixed feelings about it. Overall, I would say that the attendees at this convention are some of the nicest I've ever experienced, like just putting that out there. I had such a good time meeting so many new people. Everyone was really nice, and I don't know, it was just, the vibes were good. You know, the attendee vibes were good. Also had like a lot of people come up to me like, hey, we watch you on YouTube. I love your videos, stuff like that. And it made me really flustered, but it was just really surreal meeting people out in the wild to watch my videos. So if you stopped by and said hi or bought something or anything, really, thank you. I really appreciate it. And it was just, I don't know, I had a really good time. It was a little embarrassing, but I really appreciate it. I don't know, I can't even talk right now. I'm like flustered just remembering all those experiences. But yeah, honestly, I had a lot of fun at this convention, and I think this was probably the first show I've ever done where no one has balked at my prices. Because normally when I do shows, every now and then, it's like a common occurrence, like everyone experiences every now and then, but sometimes I look at something and be like, oh, this costs like $20? Like it's a derogatory, you know, kind of in a dismissive way. But at this show, I feel like when people can't buy something or they can't afford something, they kind of just moved on with their lives without commenting on it. So that was kind of a nice change of pace, just putting that out there. So thank you, Milwaukee, I guess, for being great. I don't know. There were some issues with the convention, namely communication. First of all, stuff like, you know, the hours, the Artist Alley hours, there was a typo in the email where it said that Sunday was supposed to end at 3, but it was actually ending at 4, and people had to find that out through word of mouth, and they never sent out a correction email about it. And for some reason, I don't know, I feel like someone brought it up with them and they were really dismissive about the issue. I don't know, I just think it's very irresponsible to not at least send out a correction email. Typos happen all the time, like it's not a bad thing. Just, you know, send out a correction when someone points out, hey, I don't think this is accurate. So just stuff like that. It really rubbed me the wrong way. I just feel like there were times where the staff felt very unprofessional, and I feel bad saying this because staff is completely volunteer for a lot of conventions, so I'm not expecting like the most outstanding performance ever. You know, I'm kind of expecting the bare minimum, which is fine because everyone here is working for free, I'm sure. That's fine, you know? We're all human, we make mistakes, things like that, but I do feel like there were some things that really made me scratch my head. But other than that, I didn't really have too many issues, honestly. It was just some communication things, some staffing things. It was more of like an irritating thing. It wasn't like convention experience ruining kind of thing, but it was just these small things adding up, which made me view the overall convention a bit more negatively. And on that note, sales-wise, this convention was it was very, very slow. I'm sure there's people out there who did great at this convention, but personally, I didn't do very good. You know, just being completely transparent. And just because I don't do well at a convention doesn't mean that you're not going to do well at a convention or that someone else isn't going to do well at this convention. It just probably wasn't the right convention for me. Or maybe my placement had something to do with it. I don't know. I was placed pretty well though. I was like literally right by the dealers. It was pretty steady flow of traffic, but I would say that it was very, very slow, and other people I talked to also said it was pretty slow. But for me, my sales suffered severely, I would say, because Friday was like catastrophically bad for me sales-wise. Like it was bad. Like I haven't done that bad since the very first convention I ever tabled at. Like it was pretty bad. Like here, let me look up how much I made each day. Just for the sake of transparency, because I want to share, like, even when I do poorly, I want to share that with y'all. Because I don't want to, like, glamorize or romanticize my life. There's not much to glamorize or romanticize here. So on Friday, I made $319. Like, that is, yeah. I feel like at a good, decently sized convention, it doesn't need to be a huge convention either. Normally I can make back my travel costs day one. You know, everything combined, I normally break even day one. That's the goal. If I break even day one, it's like, I don't care, I'm good. You know, the rest of the show is gonna be fine. And if I don't break even day one, I break even really, really, really early day two. And it's like no problem at all. I can make a decent amount of, you know, sales and profit still. But yeah, I made $319 on day one. And so just to paint a clearer picture, I broke down my costs, by the way, and I'm going to probably put it on the screen somewhere here. So for Anime Milwaukee, it was a 3-day convention, February 3rd to February 5th. So my expenses, if I break it down, flight, hotel, and table. So total expenses were $627.99. So you could round that up to like $628 to make your life easier. I would say, okay, this actually excludes like card processing fee that I paid when I paid for my table. I think it's closer to $639. Flight was $185.96. That was my round trip ticket cost. And my hotel, I paid $627.03. It was actually an Airbnb and I split it in half with my mom. So this is my half. And then my table cost $175. So day one, I made back table and maybe made back like hotel or maybe like flight. I don't know. I was just missing out on one other thing, but it was really, really slow. It was so bad. It was actually very, very bad for me. And I was sitting there like, am I doing something wrong? Because I'm doing very, very poorly at this show. And you know what? It's not that I was doing something wrong. I think it's just not the show for me. So, you know, sometimes you're going to have a bad show here and there. You can never guarantee how you're gonna do at a show. Things can change all the time, and I guess this wasn't a very good show for me. But yeah, day 3, $319. Day 2, I made $705. I made like double. And then the last day I made $620. So the total amount I made that entire weekend was actually $1,672.85. And so that was the amount I made in sales and also tips. This was the first time I ever started like trying out to accept tips. I left the tip screen on for once, just, I don't know, it's just something I was testing out because sometimes people like to tip artists. I like to tip artists every now and then when I can. So I left it on, saw that people were actually leaving tips, which was surprising. Obviously it's not like the biggest amount, but it's like any amount helps. I made, how much did I make in tips? I made $51.85 from tips, which is pretty good for a slow convention. Honestly, I'm curious to see how much in tips I get at an even bigger, busier convention, so I might try it again. I feel a little weird asking for tips for some reason, so I was just kind of uncomfortable the whole time, not gonna lie, but I would just hold it up and be like, just follow the prompts on the screen, and at the end it'll ask if you want a receipt. So it's like not pressuring people or anything, like it's there, you can just put, you know, no tip if you want. But a lot of people were kind enough to leave a tip, and that made me really happy, honestly. I really appreciate it, I do. I wish I could say something more positive about this convention, because even though I did poorly, I feel like I still kind of sort of had a good time, strangely enough. I really like the convention center. I feel like I really like where it's located, and I just feel like, I don't know, if I were local, I'd definitely do it. But traveling, it's a bit iffy for me because I just really didn't make enough. Because when I subtract everything, sales minus my expenses, I took home $1,044.86, which is, it's still a decent amount of money. I just don't think it's good enough to justify traveling to a convention. I feel like for me to justify traveling somewhere, I need to take my costs and I need to make at least, at the very, very, very least, I want to at least triple that. You know, I want to make triple of that if possible. Like if I'm spending $700, I want to make a total of at least $2,000, $2,100. It's not exactly 3 times the amount of like my travel costs, you know, ideally, but it's like if I can bring home $2,000, that would be good. Like I feel like that's a good amount for every convention moving forward for me. Like if I make 2,000, it's like, that's good. Because 2,000 is enough to pay my rent, my bills and stuff like that, and gave me a little extra spending money too, especially since I'm not constantly doing conventions. It's like if I get this one show for this 1 month, I want to make at least that much, and ideally I would make more, but that didn't really happen this convention. I only brought home like $1,000, which is a huge bummer because I traveled for it, so it's like, it wasn't really a good show for me. And I would say that Anime Milwaukee is similarly sized to KomoriCon. They're both about like 10K attendees for like a weekend. KomoriCon, I made a total of almost $3,000. And when I subtracted my costs, I brought home $2,000. Whereas Anime Milwaukee, I only brought home $1,000 and my travel costs were even lower. My travel cost for Anime Milwaukee was literally maybe about $300 less than what it cost for me to go to KomoriCon. It cost me $938 about for me to attend KomoriCon at all. And there's like a stark difference there between cost and also sales. And I still brought in more sales during KomoriCon. Even though KomoriCon was also kind of slow, I still managed to bring home a good amount of money. Would I go back to Anime Milwaukee right now? I would say no, but I would recommend it if you're local or if you have someone you can stay with, so your cost to attend is very, very low. Honestly, I would love to go back because I had a good time, but I don't think it's worth it for me personally. I don't know. I feel bad putting out like a negative video because it's like I flopped and now I'm broadcasting it to the entire world, but it's like, I don't know, this stuff happens. Sometimes you don't do well. It's not a big deal. It kind of is actually, especially when you're relying on this to pay bills, but like, what can you do? You know, some things are just really out of your control and it's not worth getting too upset over it because ultimately there's nothing you really could have done differently that might have changed how things played out for you. And for me, it was just, yeah, I kind of flopped. Friday was pretty bad. Friday was kind of disastrous. I was sitting there like, oh my God, this is not gonna be a good show for me. It's a learning experience. Every single show is a learning experience. And it was very interesting. I feel like even though I was doing poorly there, I feel like I was getting a better idea of what my target audience ideally would be. It was kind of strange. It was like, I'm not getting as many sales, but the sales I do get, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like my brain, the gears in my brain were turning, and it was like, I had like little epiphanies throughout the weekend. So I don't know, good did come out of it, I guess. But that was Anime Milwaukee. My next convention, I don't know when that'll be. I'm like waiting to hear back from like 50 million shows and no one's getting back to me. Like everyone's really late for some reason. So I don't know exactly what my next show will be. I guess I will see y'all in my next video. Hopefully my next video is a little more positive and the vibes will be a bit better. But that was Anime Milwaukee. I didn't do very well, but I also had a good time, so it kind of evens out a tiny bit. Have a great rest of your day, week, month, year. I always say this at the very end of every video, but it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna see y'all again, or I don't know if you're gonna see me again. So yeah, for what it's worth, if you got to the end of this video, thank you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.